Now this masterclass wouldn't be a masterclass if there wasn't a massive challenge. Now I think one of the king pieces of meat to cook is the bone-in rib. It's here, it's a chunk, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, but this is a whole nother level of cookery involved to get this right. We've already seen a few different cuts, a sirloin, a ribeye, a fillet steak. This is the time to really step it up. We're gonna consolidate everything we have learned and see if we can pull this off today. I'm gonna tell you already, if you paid attention, it's gonna be no problem at all. It's gonna be as easy as the sirloin, the ribeye or the fillet, but I do wanna show you exactly how we take care of this. We have this nice rim of fat here, we wanna render that down. We have a nice big surface here that we wanna caramelize. We wanna bring in loads of flavor there. We're gonna probe it, we're gonna cook it to perfection all the way down to the bone here so that there's nothing left too raw, and we're gonna have the full flavor impact of this incredible steak. We're gonna pair it real simple. We're gonna do a garlic and thyme butter and some sprouting broccoli with bacon on the side. I'm gonna show you exactly how we do it, but the main focus is how we're gonna cook this bone-in rib to perfection. We're gonna start with heating up our grill. We want some real good heat in there before we start grilling. We're gonna pump it up to maximum. Then we're going to be seasoning the ribeye. As we have seen before, gonna very lightly oil that up on both sides so that the seasoning sticks. You wanna get some of that beautiful coarse salt everywhere. Now this is a cut that you can get best at your butcher, but have it tied up with a bit of butcher's twine. If you don't have it, the rib cap that is here on the top is going to fall off whilst you're cooking it. It's going to look a little messy, it's no big deal, but it's not as beautiful for the end result. So really advise when you go to your butcher to ask him if he can tie it up nicely. We've touched the subject before. When we do grilling, we're gonna want a sauce that does not require us to have any roastings. So that's why we chose today to do a thyme and garlic butter, which we're gonna whip up nicely, make it a little bit aerated, add some crunchy salt in it, and then leave it nice on room temperature. So when you have that hot steak coming out of the oven and you add the butter on top, it's gonna melt all over, and all those aromas of the garlic and the thyme is gonna fill up the kitchen. Then you're gonna just be adding a little bit of the broccoli stems with the bacon, and it's gonna be a perfect meal. Now, as we've seen before, we're gonna wanna make sure that we take care of the fat first. So we have a little bit here. We wanna render that down real nicely. So that is our first touching point on the grill. Push it down all the way so that the bone touches the grill as well. And you can see that real nicely start rendering down the fat. We won't be able to get all the way up until there, but we want to push it down and see that we get as much of that rim on the grill pan. Just going to hold it up with our hands. It's quite high up, there's not much chances of burn, but do be careful. These grills are really hot and we don't want you to get any burns. Slowly turn it over. You can already see how that is beautifully rendered and crisped up the fat. The flavor is intensified. It's going to be delicious once it's done cooking, but it does really need a little extra time. If you do not cook it on the fat side, you're going to have uncooked, a little bit jelly fat, not really yummy. We left the steak out. This one needs at least 45 minutes out of the fridge before you start cooking, so it really comes up to room temperature. And we've done exactly the same with the butter that we're going to be whipping up for the garlic and thyme butter. If the butter is cold, it's going to be really hard to whip it up, get all the flavors nicely evenly mixed. So make sure that the butter is soft, the steak is on room temperature, a really hot grill, and there's barely anything that can go wrong. Moving it over, once it's all nicely grilled on the outside, I'm going to take care of the larger surfaces. It's going to grill up real nicely. Going to have lots of flavor on those sides. Going to render down the fat in the middle as well. Going to put it on the oven tray, finish it up in the oven on 180 degrees, as we have done with the other cuts as well. Give it time to rest, bring the temperature up slowly all the way down to the core. We test it with our thermometer, and before you know, we have a delicious meal ready, done. That looks incredible. Look at those beautiful grill marks. We'll keep it on a high heat. If you're cooking over gas, you might have to turn it down a bit. You don't want to burn any of it. We need real good heat and nice grill marks, but we don't want any burning to be happening. That is not really delicious. I have a quick check there. Just need another minute. And that's it, guys. Look how gorgeous that looks. Beautiful grill marks, nicely seasoned, nicely grilled up. Grill pan can go on the side. And we're bringing back our thermometer. Now this time, we're gonna wanna stick it in, but we're gonna wanna have the tip end near the bone, because that's where it will take the longest to cook. So we're gonna stick it in from the side, all the way down to the back. You want to take care, make sure that it is nice and centered. If it's too much on the outside, you'll have the chances that you end up with a raw cooked steak on the inside. Where it's positioned is really important for the success of cooking this steak, because it's so big and it's such a chunk. We have to get these little details right. But from here on, it's just keeping an eye on the temperature, bring it up slowly, take it out of the oven, rest it a little bit, finish it off, add your sauce, add your garnish, and you have this unbelievable showstopper in less than 45 minutes. In the meantime, whilst the steak is cooking, we're going to be taking care of our sprouting broccoli. We're going to cut some lardons of bacon and fry them up nicely, so we bring some extra punch to those broccolis. And we're going to be mixing up our garlic and thyme butter. We're going to start with bringing this bit of water to the boil. Once that is cooking, season the water a bit. We'll steam them dry. We don't rinse them cold because we don't want to add any more water to that. We want to keep that vegetable in its absolute perfect state. Finish it off with a drizzle of olive oil with the bacons inside. It's going to be really delicious. Now, I've put some bacon rashers in the freezer earlier, so they get really nice and frozen, because it's going to make it a lot easier to cut into nice lardons afterwards. So these are completely frozen through. You take a sharp knife and show the better. Really beautiful, fine bacon lardons. If your bacon is not frozen, it's no big deal. It will be just more difficult to cut. And like this, you can get real beautiful little strips, refined. That's gonna go so well with these broccolis. Now, I'm gonna add a tiny drop of oil to the pan, just so the bacon lardons won't stick. And they can go in. Still a little bit frozen, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to gently bring up the heat and fry them till they're nice and crispy. We'll be careful not to burn them. I keep stirring them, it goes rather quickly. Just stick with it. You'll walk away, there's a good chance that you're going to over fry one of the sides so that they can burn a little bit in the middle of the pan. I think we have about enough heat in the pan. I'm just going to set them aside. Let the rest of the heat from the pan work its way through the little lardons. Cook them out nice and evenly. Once done, there'll be quite a bit of extra grease in there. We don't really want that. We'll add a touch of olive oil afterwards. Now we'll just scoop them on the side. Our water is boiling. Gonna be cooking our broccolis. Slightly salted water. Quick cook, maybe 2 to 3 minutes until they still have a nice bite. Then we'll steam them dry. We add the bacon with a little bit of olive oil, and that's our side ready. Gonna just have a quick look at the meat. We're gonna see where we stand. Gonna wanna turn over the steak so it cooks evenly on all sides. Give it a little rest, 2 to 3 minutes before it goes back in the oven, and we're cooking further up. So for our garlic and thyme butter, we're gonna need about 125 grams of butter, 1 clove of garlic, nice sprig of thyme that we'll chop fine, and a sprinkle of salt. And we're going to whisk it all together. I've already measured that out. It's about half a block. With a spoon, you can see if that butter is nice and soft. I want to make sure that it is easy and moldable. That is great. Our broccolis are done. We'll just let them steam dry. Then chopping a clove of garlic. We want to get the thin slices first, and then we're going to make julienne. Afterwards we'll chop it real nice and fine. If you prefer the garlic press, as I said, feel free to do so. It's a bit of a tricky one because these cloves are so small. It's good practice if you want to polish up your knife skills. Want it to be really nice and fine. You don't really want any big lumps of garlic in there, though it is garlic butter. Obviously one of the main components of the flavor will be the garlic, but we want it to be nice and fine. The butter will be evenly flavored. Then we'll quickly put the meat back in the oven. Need another couple of degrees. So we've turned it over halfway. Now we're going to be cooking the other side. Going to come up real nice until we have our thyme. The sticks, they are too hard. We want to really get rid of them. Just take the tops and we're going to chop that up real nice and fine. Add that to the butter. Beautiful and fragrant, so delicious. Incredible herb, so versatile. Works fantastic with meat, but also with fish, even in desserts. It's a beautiful flavor, especially lemon thyme would pair well. I've done some of my finals menu on MasterChef. One of the sorbets I made in the final rounds was a yogurt and thyme sorbet, and we used lemon thyme, which was so fragrant, and that flavor that came through was really incredible. Chop it really nice and fine. And into our butter. And a real nice sprinkle of salt. If the butter is unsalted, in case you got salted butter, you won't need any more. That is salty enough. And then we're going to want to whip this up. You can use a spoon, you can use a whisk if you like, doesn't really matter. We want to get it really nice and creamy. When your spoon is on top of the warm meat, it's going to flow out. It's going to give all the flavor all over. Every slice is going to drip in between. It's going to be so delicious. That is really fine. Then for our broccolis, we will add a tiny drop of olive oil. Our bacon lardons. And of course, the broccoli. Now we don't need any more cooking on these. They're already cooked. You just want to make sure that all those flavors are completely mixed around in between, that all these bacon pieces are stuck in between the broccoli stems. And that's going to be perfect for later on. We have our butter ready, we have our broccolis ready. Now we're just waiting on the steak. We're going to check that soon. We're going to rest it for a bit, cook it all the way through to that beautiful 58 degrees. And once it's done, we'll have a feast to dive into. We are at 46 as we speak, which is great. We're really getting there. Want to turn it over one more time because the heat transfer is different on the top of the meat than on the bottom because of the metal tray. We can already see there's real nice caramelization from that grilling. This is going to be just stunning when it's done. Gonna need to give it a little bit more time to rest. We do one more round in the oven and then we're ready for plating, ready for the feast. Final stages, we're at 50-degree core temperature. We're going to put it in by one more time, bring it up to 55, we'll leave it to rest, and then the meat will do the rest of the work, bring it up to 58 degrees. So we have some time to set up our final things. We're going to be placing this on a nice wooden board, gorgeous centerpiece. If you feel like you want to add anything to this, you can do some roasted potatoes, your favorite French fries, serve it with rice, serve it as you like. But this is going to look stunning in the middle. It's at 55 degrees. It's perfect to take out of the oven. We're going to leave it to rest for a bit and then we'll be finishing up our dish. And that is looking stunning. You don't need this anymore if you feel like you want to keep it in there, so you can just check the temperature and where it goes up to. But by now we're very confident. We know that these last 3-4 degrees are going to slowly and gradually come from the residual heat in the tray and in the rest of the steak. So we'll leave that out. And there it is, that moment of truth we have been waiting for. We are ready. The meat is beautifully rested. We're going to carve it off the bone and make it into really nice tranches. We're going to plate it up here with our sprouting broccoli with bacon. Put that beautiful thyme and garlic butter on top. we will be ready. So we're going to start with carving it off the bone, and the bone goes that way on a curve. I'll just gently carve it off as close to the bone as possible. We don't really want to waste any of the beautiful meat. I like to serve the bone as a decorative piece. I want to get a little bit rid of the trim sticking out. It is beautifully cooked all the way through, but very even, and that's what we are looking for. The knife goes through like it's butter. And now we know we've done a good job, we know we're gonna have a feast. We can't wait to sink our teeth into this. Bring this a little closer. Gently spread out a gorgeous steak. Leave nothing behind. We've put so much effort into getting this right. We don't want to waste anything. We'll take our thyme and garlic butter. Spread it a little bit on top. Let it melt into the slices. Gonna finish that up with our sprouting broccolis, with all the bacons inside. It's gonna give such a nice salty touch to this. Serve it with your favorite potatoes, French fries, roasted, whatever you please. Want to finish that up. All the bacon bits. And we're gonna serve the rest of the butter on the side. So you can spread it as much as you like. And that will be our steak mastery. A bone-in rib with sprouted broccoli and thyme and garlic butter. Enjoy!